So I was casually scrolling through X when I found this post. It tells us that the Hermes desktop app now has a bot mode. For anyone who doesn't know what Hermes is, you're missing out. But let me tell you that it is an open source AI agent framework that improves with time. So as you work with this AI agent, it improves itself. Because this is an AI agent framework, you can bring your own models. And because this is open source, you can run it for completely free on your own machine, which makes it stand out as compared to the other AI agent frameworks in the market. And they have released a bot mode wherein you can create individual specialized bots. So each bot can have its own name, its own role, its own instructions. You can choose a model for it. Do you want to run it on a Claude model? Do you want to run it on an OpenAI model, a local model? You can choose it. It has its own memory, its own skills, and a profile picture. You can either speak with the bot individually or you can have bots communicate with one another. Now, the reason why this becomes interesting is because of two main reasons. The first reason is that you must have noticed that Grokbot is trending these days. And Grokbot also works on a very similar architecture, wherein you can create your own bots, give them roles, and do all of this. And to be honest, if you compare the UI of Grokbot to this bot mode inside Hermes desktop, they look very similar. So that is one reason why this becomes interesting, which is because of the timing. Now, the second reason is that because Hermes is open source and you can bring your own models, you can run this for as low as a couple of dollars a month. Well, obviously it depends on how much work you're doing. But as compared to $100 a month, $200 a month, $300 a month, this one is much more cost effective. And some people run Hermes on their local models, which means they don't even have to pay a single dollar. And in this video, we are going to be exploring the bot mode. Obviously, we're going to create certain bots, make them do things, and we're going to judge how good or bad it is for you to use it as a part of your everyday work. If you're someone who already uses Hermes, you're going to really love this one. So if you're ready, let's get started. For anyone watching my video for the very first time, hi, my name is Yashica Jain. I'm the founder of Automates AI. For the last couple of years, me and my team have been helping businesses adopt AI. And on this channel, I talk about practical AI implementations. We stay away from the AI hype and talk about the real-world use cases of AI. If you are interested, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and for anyone interested in working with me and my team, you can check out the description of this video. So now that you know me, let's get started. Okay, so now if you want to access the bot mode, you must download their desktop app. As of now, it's only available there. It's not available on the cloud, on the local version, I think. So you'll have to download the desktop app. It's available on Windows, macOS, Linux. I will link this page in the description. You can go there and simply download. Free to download. If you already have it, then make sure you update the app. Otherwise, you won't see that functionality. If you're interested in learning more about the desktop app itself, the setup and the use cases and everything, I'll link another video of mine up here that you can watch where I've covered everything. Okay, so I'm within the Hermes desktop app. Now for the model provider or the AI LLM provider, I am using OpenRouter, which I've also covered in that video, how you can set it up, because it gives me access to these different models and I can switch anytime. Some of these are even free to access, which is amazing. So the traditional way of how we used to talk to AI assistants and AI agents was that we would start a new conversation. We have been following this approach since ChatGPT came out. We just create a new chat, we talk about it, the topic changes, we start another chat, we talk about it, and the same continues. But since the announcement of Grokbot, this system is changing. Now, instead of you creating new conversations, you would create newer bots. So specialized bots, and every time you want to have a conversation, you simply go to that bot and talk to it, which is also something that Hermes is adopting. So if you open the sidebar, you'll see two options, sessions and bots. Sessions is the old traditional way I'm talking about. Well, not quite old, but still old. And bots is the new way. This UI is also very similar to how we do chats. The only main difference being that instead of conversations here, we have bots here. Any bot you create would be listed right here. And on the right here, you can see cron jobs. Cron jobs are scheduled tasks. For example, you want something to run every single Monday at 7 p.m. Then you can schedule a task and the bot would run at that point in time. Now, before I show you how you can create a bot, how we can make it work and things like that, I want to make one thing clear. Is bots a really new concept? Did it not exist 2 weeks before? Well, it did, but it did not have a UI of its own. That's the only difference. Since the very beginning, we have always had this functionality of creating profiles. So if you look here, you can click on new profile, you can give it a name, you can give it instructions, and it would essentially be an independent Hermes environment with its own configurations, skills, and instructions. And that is nothing else but a bot, which is an independent Hermes environment. So it's not something extremely new done from scratch sort of a thing. It's more like they have repurposed it into a new UI, which makes it easier for beginners and also makes it easier visually. So in case you're wondering that it's something completely out of the box, no, it's not. It's just a repurposed feature. So knowing that was very important before we got started. So now that you know what is happening under the hood, we can proceed with creating agents with much more clarity. So simply you have to click on create new agent, which is going to pull up this form in front of you. The first thing you have to do is choose a profile picture for your bot. Very important. So here you can choose one, you can randomize them. You can also generate them using AI if you have an image model available. You can upload an image from your computer, and you can also choose from these cute looking pets, which are my personal favorite. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to name your bot. You can be creative about this. So Joey, the copywriter, you can name it whatever you feel like. Then comes the title. This is the part where you need to be clear about what this bot is about. So let's say that this bot is a copywriter. So I'm going to give it this title. Then comes the description. Here you have to explain the role of the bot, the persona of the bot, the things it should keep in mind, basically anything and everything you want the bot to know. So this is the place. And really this has to be written in plain English. There's no such structure you have to follow. So simply mention that. Then if you open up advanced, you will see a couple more settings. Though these are not that important, I'm still going to cover them in case someone needs to use them. So the first one under general says clone from profile. So here you can choose if you want to clone your default profile, which you have been using for all your Hermes conversations, or if you want to create a fresh profile from scratch. So that's up to you. I think default is fine. The next one is you can choose the model for your bot. So this is new. So here you can basically be like, okay, this bot is going to run on Claude Sonnet. That bot is going to run on OpenAI GPT 5.6. So you can be creative about it. You can use different models for different purposes. For example, Claude is better at research, so you can use it for that. Or let's say ChatGPT is good at advice, so you can use it for that. Now, because I am using OpenRouter, which has access to all the models, I am going to just go with my launch profile models, just inherit the default models, and I am not going to change anything here. While chatting with the bot, I can easily switch the model if I feel. So that's another setting. The next one is the Soul.md file, which basically is a persona for your agent. So things like, you are Joey, be concise, use emojis, be funny sometimes, and then you can give it a big description of who it is, what it is supposed to do. So basically the description, but in a more explained manner. So you can think of it this way, that the description is a 2-mark question, but the Soul.md file is a 10-mark question. So something like that. And you can leave it empty if you want, and it will automatically generate it from the details you have already filled out. but you can also mention your own. We're gonna see more on this later on. Then here you can check or uncheck this box, which basically asks you, do you want to share the API keys and connections from the main profile? Let's say you connected to something. So do you also want your bot to access that or not? So I would keep that on. So basically there's not much to do in the advanced settings, but if you want, you can add the Soul.md file and mess around with the model. So now you know how you can create a bot. But the main question is, which bots should you build? Because you can create a bot in 10 seconds, but it should be useful for you, right? It shouldn't be just something you saw on YouTube, some other person is building that and you're like, okay, I'll build this one. It should be actually useful to you, personalized to your workflow, things that you are doing every single day, so that it can help you save time. So here's a quick exercise that I follow that helps me identify the AI agents or bots that I need. The first step is mapping your week. Just take 2 minutes and think about what you do Monday through Saturday. You can take Sunday if you want, and I'm talking about your professional life. So let's say that, okay, I work on content ideas, I write my YouTube scripts, I write the drafts, the outlines, then I shoot those videos, so that's my YouTube part. Then there's my agency, I take meetings, we prepare and send proposals, we're working on client projects, there are client meetings, right? So you have to think about your entire week, what you are doing professionally. Once you're clear on that, head over to exercise 2, which is checking your chat history. Not your WhatsApp or Instagram chat history, your ChatGPT, Claude, Hermes, OpenClaw chat history. Whichever AI agent you're using, just have a look at the chat history. Just try to see what are the common patterns. When are you using them the most? And are you repeating yourself again and again, just trying to make it understand things because you're starting a new conversation each time? So do that part. So once you know what you do every single week, and once you know what you're using AI for, then you can turn each into a person. Yes, and then build that out. So that is a quick procedure I follow. Now, once you do this exercise, you're going to have a lot of ideas about the different sorts of bots you can create. And to be honest, they're all going to be in one of these 4 categories. So your bots can either be task specific, or they can be role specific, or they can be side helpers, or just out of the box bots. So the task specific bots, you're going to get them when you do step number 2. Where you see what you're using AI for. So let's say in my case, I use AI for coming up with content ideas. So that is a task specific bot that I can create. Then coming to role specific, these are kind of the people you would like to talk to. And you would know this from point number 1 when you're mapping your week. So for example, in my case, I would really like to have a brand strategist. So a brand strategist is not really a task-specific job, but it's more of a role-specific job that knows my personal brand, about my YouTube channel, about LinkedIn, the things I'm doing, the things I'm working on. So that could be a role-specific bot for me. Then comes side helpers. So again, this can also come from a mixture of both of these. Just to give you an example, maybe you can have a bot for planning, let's say, your workouts, planning your meals. It can be for research purposes. Maybe you're researching something about the stock market, so you can have one for that. This is your life-related jobs that you do, which has nothing to do with your professional work, but you still use AI for that. So those kind of jobs are side helpers. And then out of the box. These are things that you wouldn't even think about. So let me give you an example. You can have a bot that critiques you. I would call it the hater. So essentially, let's say I'm working on a new product. So I can just go to this bot and I'll be like, okay, I'm launching this, this, and this. Now, because that bot hates me, it's going to critique me. It will be like, no, Yashica, this isn't right. That is wrong. This is not going to work. I know it's negative, but still, sometimes it can give you actual pointers that your ChatGPT Claude bots that always say yes, yes, yes won't. Because Claude and ChatGPT are like, yeah, you're correct, you're going in the right direction. So sometimes you really need a critique. If you have one in real life, great, but if you don't, just build it for yourself. In Hindi, there's a saying that translates to keep critiques near yourself because they really help you improve. And I personally believe in that because only if you know your shortcomings, only then you can improve. Alright, so that was a little out of topic, but anyway, since we were talking about out of the box. So those are the 4 types of bots you can create. And if you even do a couple for each category, you're gonna have a nice team of AI bots. Now, I'm not a person who tells people to do things but then doesn't implement that in their own life. So I have also done this audit for myself and I have some ideas that I can turn into bots. Now, obviously, I'm not sharing each and every one, but I'm gonna share the majority of them. So for the task specific bots, so I saw my ChatGPT history, etc. and I found a couple of ideas. Here are 3 of them. I really use ChatGPT for telling me what is new in AI. It's really hard to keep up, so it tells me what is new. It tells me if it's no code, low code, or if it's on the high coding end. It tells me if it's practical or just hype. And then once I know about that, that is how I come up with these video ideas. So I can turn that into a bot. Then I often send ChatGPT or Claude my YouTube analytics that find patterns and they see things that even I miss sometimes. So that's what I do. Then there's proposal drafting. So from a lot of calls, we have to send out proposals. And oftentimes, if they are like smaller projects, what we do is we send the meeting transcript over to AI and then get it to write the proposal. Obviously, in our tone, in our structure, we change things, etc. But this is also something I tend to do sometimes. So these are some task-specific bots. So let's create a bot for this category. So coming back here, we are going to create the trend hunter. So this time I'm going to name it Trendy so that as soon as I look at the name, I know who it is. And for the title, I'm going to call it the trend hunter. For the profile picture, I'm not quite sure which one I should use. So let me just choose anyone randomly. The description is identifies what's new in the AI space. Now, if I'm being very honest, AI is a very big industry in itself, and this agentic AI, vibe coding, no code AI is just a part of it. There's really a lot more to it than we can see. So I'm going to ask it to niche down to agentic AI, vibe coding, AI agents, AI voice agents, and no-code AI advancements. Cover any new AI tool, new AI model, new AI framework. Because a lot of times there's like loop engineering coming out, graph engineering coming out. So we can cover all of that. Then I'm telling it analyze each new advancement on the following parameters. The first is practicality, how practical it is in the real world. Remove any AI hype. Second is usability. Keep in mind that it should be affordable, easy to set up and maintain. A lot of times there are things in AI that can cost you a bomb. There are things in AI that can be extremely difficult to set up and maintain. So we keep them out of picture. Then the utility. Can this save time, money, or efforts for a working professional? If yes, it is worth putting in the list. Okay, so those are the few factors right there. Then some more notes. Be to the point, use bulleted lists, provide links and resources like documentations where applicable. Okay, so that is the description. Now, if I wanted, I could have simply copy pasted this, but I really wanted to write it in front of you so that you know how it's to be done, okay? Nothing here as of now, okay? I am going to create this agent. There you go. Here we have Trendy. So if you click on it, it's gonna open a new conversation. Now, because I have Open Router, I can easily change the model. We even have free models, so I can switch between GPT and DeepSeek and all of them. That is why I didn't really go into the model setting while creating the bot. Then we have some voice modes, etc. if you want to use them. If you want to attach anything, you can. Mind you, the desktop app can access your local files in case you wanted to access them. I've covered more about this inside my other video where I'm talking about the desktop app. So I'm going to simply message it, hey Trendy, what's new this week? That is it. We're not going to tell it the entire thing that look for this, look for that, which I tend to do when I'm speaking to ChatGPT or Claude. I tend to repeat myself, but here we don't have to do that. Alright, so it searched the web and for some reason it is giving me late August 2025 updates. For example, the OpenAI real-time API, etc. So because things are off, what we are going to do is we're going to edit the bot profile. So here I've told it, whenever I ask you to tell me what is new this week, search only for the last week's trends. Now I know this might sound very obvious, but sometimes you just have to mention. And the other thing is that outside of bots also, if you just go to new sessions, you can either choose the profile right here of Trendy. If not, you can also tag Trendy and then you can type your question. So that's also another way of chatting with it. I just thought I'd let you know. So going back to the bot, let me just send the same message. Okay, so now it got the date correct and here's the answer. And because of our description for each point, it tells us about practicality, usability, and utility. And also the hype check. So this one is new. I was thinking about creating a video on this. Alright. So the story behind the story, the agents are now escaping sandboxes, which is correct. So again, very useful, very nice. So once your description is fitting the type of output you're looking for, you're all set. Now you don't have to keep on editing the bot. You just simply come here, you send your prompt, couple of words, and you get the quality output that you're looking for without always re-repeating yourself. Now another thing for task-specific bots is not just identifying the tasks you do and creating bot around them, it's also making those bots do the tasks for you. So for example, here it could be actually creating the PDF. So in the description, I can tell it that the PDF should use these fonts, these, let's say, spacing rules, use this logo, which is in my desktop folder. And I can actually get it to write the proposal, save the PDF in a certain folder on my system. And that is what is going to save you time. Same things with spreadsheets, for example. So for example, here YouTube Analytics, I can tell it that I just downloaded it from YouTube. It's in my downloads folder. It fetches it, it looks at it, it creates the report, it saves it back. And for those ones, you should also give a Soul.md file and not just stick to the descriptions. In my other video on the desktop app itself, I covered all of this, how you can get Hermes desktop to do things for you. The same concept applies for the bots. This video is more focused on how you can create bots, etc. If you want to learn about those bits, like how you can get it to access your computer, how you can make it access the browser, etc., you can watch that video. Those things remain the same, they don't change. The next type of bot are going to be role-specific bots. As I said, they're not going to be for a particular task. Instead, they're going to be people you want to speak with. For example, my brand strategist, who knows about my personal branding rules, things that I abide by. And let's say I want to take its advice that should I post this video or not? Should I post this piece of content? Or this is how my last week went. What should I do next week? So this can really help. And for this one, I would highly recommend having a Soul.md file. Another example could be a thumbnail critic, where I give it my thumbnails. I tell it about the thumbnails that work for me, that have worked for me previously. And then it critiques them, helps me improve them. Also, before we move on to the next one, if you go back to the last bot we had set up, and if you just edit that, you'll see that it generated a Soul.md file on its own. So even if you don't have one, it will generate one based on the title and description you have. Okay, so let's create a role-specific agent. So let's quickly do this one. So this is my brand strategist. Let's name it Jain. So my description says, holds the rules for my personal brand and checks anything before it goes out. The titles, the thumbnails, captions, hooks, cheat sheets, bios, anything. Now you would think that, okay, is that it? How does it know about your brand rules, etc.? So we're going to mention all of that in the Soul.md file. So here's my Soul.md file. I took the help of Claude to write this because it's a long one. Like, I didn't want to write each and every line myself like I usually write the descriptions. So I told Claude about the raw ideas I want to keep in this, and then it formatted it as an MD file. .md file. So here we are giving it the rules. So I hold Yashica's brand rules so she doesn't have to hold them in her head at 11 p.m. before something goes out. I'm the last check, not the writer. So who I work for, what she does, what I do, how I answer. So give the verdict, what breaks, what is the fix, the rules, for example, no M dashes, etc. And some more things that I wanted it to know. So you can do the same thing. You can ask ChatGPT or Claude to help you come up with the Soul.md file by you giving them the raw ideas or the raw pointers. Once you're all set, create the agent. Now, when you're speaking to role-specific bots, think of them more as a person, as an advisory, okay? So I'm simply telling it, is this a good video to make? And the title is, You Won't Believe What Hermes Released, the Bot Mode. Now, this is not a title I would put in the first place. So let me send it to my brand strategist and let's see what he or she says. What should I call it? He or she? Oh, because it's Jenny, so it's gonna be she. Okay. And for the model, let me go with 5.6. Okay. So the verdict is borderline. The video idea fits, but the title is off-brand. So it is a clickbait. And the fix is, I built an AI team with Hermes bot mode. Now that is something I would use, no doubt. Now you might feel that, oh, but this is basic advice. Why do you need a brand strategist for that? Well, a lot of times, even though you know your personal brand, you can also go off the rails and just go behind views sometimes. You might see that for some other creator, this title is working. Let me also use it. I'm going to get a lot of views. But that is against your brand rules. So it's always good that before you're posting a video, you just check it with someone. It could be an AI bot also, so that they can guide you in the correct direction. I really like the way it gave its output in this correct format that we had specified in the Soul.md file. I love this. So that was role specific. Similarly, you can create, let's say, a mentor for you, etc. Really up to you. Now, before we move on to the next one, I want to show you one more thing. So let's say I'm speaking with Trendy, okay? And I like the DeepSeek harness, okay? So what I can do is I can tag my brand strategist and I can ask it, can I cover the DeepSeek harness topic? How would the title look like? And though I'm having a chat with Trendy, still I'm gonna get a reply from Jenny. So as you can see, sending this to Jenny now. And as you can see at the top, both of them are now active, as you can see here as well. Now, right now, Jenny is still writing the answer. We haven't got the answer. Okay, so now the message from Jenny is coming. Okay, so here's the answer. So this is how you can tag different bots in a conversation. Moving on to the next ones that are side helpers. So these are the ones that don't help you with your work, but still help you with things that can save you time every single day. Now, the reason why I'm choosing Hermes is because Hermes gets better and it remembers everything. So let's say you're using it as your meal planner. So if you tell it that I don't like bread, for example, let's just take an example that I don't like bread. So even though you've just told it once, it would remember that and it will not have that included in your other meals. So that's why Hermes is a good one to help create these everyday life related bots. So you can use it for research purposes, for planning purposes, organization purposes. And these ones don't really need a Soul.md file, like even having a simple description could help. So I'm gonna leave this one as a homework to you because this one is quite simple. You just write a nice description and you should be good. Then comes our last bucket, which is my personal favorite, out of the box. Things you wouldn't really think of, but if you have them as bots, it can really help you. So let me take an example. Let's say you're building a product, but you still don't have clarity about what the customer thinks about it. So you can make a bot that acts like your customer. So you can mention a good ideal client profile in the description, that they're 24 years old, they live here, they do this, they're interested in this, and then you can speak to that customer. That way you can know what your product is missing, how it could improve, etc. Another one I like is the hater. So the hater can critique you. I've talked about this previously. So it's going to give you the honest reading of your work. Similarly, you can have risk analyst. Should I take this risk or not? A therapist buddy. Amazing. I think everyone should have this one. Wherein if you're feeling low, if you're not feeling good, you don't have anyone to speak to, you can talk to it. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to replace an actual therapist, but it can help you feel good for at that point in time. And in the description, you can, customize it so that it matches your thoughts, your tone, etc. Your travel friend, let's say you tell it once that I don't like to stay in hostels. I just want to stay in 3-star properties. It's going to remember that. And the next time it creates an itinerary, it is going to include 3-star hotels. You can have a business coach. I could also put this in the role-specific category, by the way. So these are some out-of-the-box bots that you could create. Now I showed you how you can tag a bot in a particular chat. There's another feature that's called a group chat, wherein you can add certain bots to a single group. For example, you're having your content strategist, copywriter, brand strategist, all of them in one group. And every time you work on some content, you speak to that group directly. So let's create a group. So here I'm saying, Trendy, find 3 new trends, and Jenny, turn them into content ideas for me. So now both of them are going to get this message and they will be able to work on this and reply. You can also upload a profile picture for this group if you don't want to have something like this. And you know what? To your group chats, make sure to add the hater so that it can critique you and you can improve on that. Alright, so Trendy has got us these 3 different trends. Now it's telling Jenny that I've got 3 hot angles for you, over to you. And now Jenny is working on it. How cool! And so easy. Like multi-agent orchestrations existed 6 months before as well, but it wasn't so easy and so visual. Now it's like anyone can do it. Beginners friendly. Now while it's doing that, you can also create cron jobs, which are scheduled tasks. For example, you can schedule, let's say, Trendy to work every single Monday and Wednesday and Friday to look for new content ideas. So that way it's gonna work automatically. Okay, so here's what Jenny says. Beautiful. See, bots is a great way to organize your work and to stop repeating the same things over and over again. It's not anything out of the blue, but it still can help you save a lot of time. So that was the bot mode explained. I've tried to explain each and every functionality of this new setup that we're seeing, and I'm pretty sure other AI agent frameworks are also going to adopt it very soon. If you just learn it once, it's going to be easy for you to adapt to other platforms quickly. Now, I know a major question that I will be seeing in the comments is, does this win or lose against Grokbot? Because if you think about it, they both look very similar. In terms of functionalities also, they're quite similar. So it's natural for us to compare them. But what I have to say is, they both really differ in pricing. Grokbot costs $200 to $300 a month. If you want to create one Grokbot, even just one, you have to pay $200 to $300 per month. That's the minimum you have to pay. But in case of Hermes, you can run it for like $5 as credits in your open router balance. If you use the free models, then not even that. So in terms of that, I think it doesn't really compare. If you know what I mean, you're like seeing a property that's worth $1 million and it has 7 bedrooms, and now you're comparing it with, let's say, a property that is 200K which has 5 bedrooms. You know what I mean? But still, I think for people who cannot afford Grokbot, Hermes is a great option. It is lacking a few functionalities as compared to Grokbot, and it's not as smooth, I'm going to be very honest. But even see the price difference. For the people who can afford it, I am pretty sure you're gonna go towards Grokbot more, unless you prefer something that is open source and local. And I'm also very sure that from here, the bot mode is only going to get better. It was just released a couple of days ago, and it's the first version, and they're gonna add more functionalities, make it even smoother, make things better, add more UI related navigations, so it's gonna stand out. But yeah, the way Hermes released this in a few days after Grokbot was released is commendable. Like, how fast can you build features? I don't know. So yeah, in those terms, it stands out. So I hope you get my point. For the price, it's amazing. If you're okay with spending more, spend more. Let me know what you think about the Hermes bot mode, how it turned out to be for you. Did you like it? Did you not like it? In the comments below. If you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything you want me to cover in the future, let me know. I love to read your comments. If this video was valuable, do not forget to like the video and do subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in working with my agency where we're helping businesses automate manual processes using AI, you can check out the link to our website, link in the description. For anyone who's interested in my consulting service, the link to my consulting calendar is in the description. I can help you with anything AI related. Obviously, anything that comes under my expertise net. If you want to see some more exclusive content from my site, do not forget to follow me on LinkedIn and X. You can send me a connection request on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me personally. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. I will meet you in the next one. Till then, bye!